welcome to our first show of Bengal Banter, where we interview newsmakers and share information important to ISU students and members of the Pocatello community. This show is produced by students in the Communication, Media, and Persuasion Department at Idaho State University. My name is Ryan Durant, and I'm a senior at ISU. At some point, many people need an extra hand. Students are no different. Today, we'd like to tell you about a great ISU program called Benny's Pantry. It's a food bank exclusively for students of Idaho State University who are in need. It's right on the main campus downstairs in the Student Union building. The pantry opened its doors in early 2014, and it's the first of its kind in Idaho, a university food bank for college students in need. The pantry is staffed by student affairs staff and student volunteers. BROOKE Barber will be here on the show to tell us more about Benny's Pantry, but first, let us take a look at some of the video I got at Benny's Pantry a few days ago. ISU has its very own food bank that offers food for those that are in need of some extra food. I spoke with Corey Matthew Cox, the student manager at Benny's Pantry, on their volunteer services that people can take part of.
Benny's Pantry is a food bank on the campus of Idaho State University, and we provide non-perishable food goods to students in need. Students would come in, they would receive volunteer training, they would get the A to Z from the pantry, how our operations run, what are the rules, what are the limitations. Then they would sign a confidentiality waiver saying that they will not speak about the pantry outside of the pantry, just in case somebody doesn't want anybody else to know that they were shopping at the pantry. Food insecurity is a big deal, and we try to alleviate that as much as possible.
Those that wish to volunteer at Benny's Pantry can apply at the Lead Center on the third floor of the Student Union building at ISU. Volunteer training is held every Tuesday between 12:30 to 1:30 with Corey. These activities will range from helping people find out what they are looking for and checking them out in the pantry.
Students, to get some volunteer hours, or if they just want to help out, can go to the pantry and they can run the pantry for however long they want, or the whole day, for as many hours as it's open that day, and then just help distribute the food that's there. I just think it's a really great resource, and it's really cool that ISU has something like that to help out its students.
You know, you gotta eat, and help is there for a reason, not to be passed over.
This is Ryan Durant reporting on the volunteer service for Benny's Pantry for KPVI News. Well, it's really good to be reminded that there's help out there. Students might be embarrassed about asking for a hand, but they really shouldn't be shy about it. Let's send it over to Nate Graves in the talk studio to hear more directly from BROOKE Barber. Over to you, Nate.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm Nate Graves. I'm a senior at Idaho State University. With me today is BROOKE Barber, Director of Orientation, Leadership, and Service at ISU. Brooke, thanks for joining us. What is it exactly that you do at the food pantry, Brooke?
Our mission at Benny's Pantry is to alleviate food insecurity where it exists at Idaho State University. And so we distribute non-perishable foods to anyone with a current Bengal ID card.
And where exactly did you get the idea for a student food pantry like this? It's a wonderful idea.
Yes, the idea was inspired by Dr. Laura Vallis, the First Lady of Idaho State. She happens to be a registered dietitian in her own professional career, and the idea was inspired based on her professional experience, as well as the knowledge that students at Idaho State often make difficult decisions between their educational expenses and eating a nutritious and healthy diet.
And on a campus like Idaho State University, where exactly was it that you chose the location to put Benny's Pantry?
It was important to select a location with easy accessibility for students, and we felt that the Student Union building, which is a high traffic area at the university, we felt that that would be a great location, and we felt that by having it near the game center would have easy access to all of the exterior entrances to the Union.
And thus help the students more. That's wonderful. And then what kind of food items are in the pantry?
Yeah, so we distribute anything that is non-perishable. So we have breakfast foods, we have grains, pasta, canned soup, vegetables, fruit, infant food, formula, and baking goods.
Sounds like a very wide variety of foods. What foods do the students like the best, would you say?
We tend to distribute breakfast foods the most, and we seem to have a constant need for those types of foods to be donated to us.
And now, within the past year, how many students do you think have used Benny's Pantry?
We have 2 locations. We opened our second location in Idaho Falls in October. And between the Idaho Falls and Pocatello Benny's Pantry locations, we reach over 200 ISU households every year, and we distribute nearly 9,000 pounds of food a year.
And obviously it takes a lot of people to run this type of an organization. What type of students volunteer at the Pantry, and how many students volunteer at the Pantry?
Yes, we have trained over 100 volunteers between both of our locations, and those volunteers come from the ISU community. They are all students, and some of them are there because a professor requires it as part of a curriculum. Although we have others who are trying to gain service hours, and others who simply want to give their time out of the goodness of their heart to make a difference.
And it certainly is a good thing. And have you seen any kind of impacts? How does this impact the students' lives who do volunteer?
Yes, for the volunteers, it is high impact. They are able to see firsthand the impact of providing food to a family that needs it desperately. And you can't help but see that and feel it when you are in the pantry. Additionally, I would say that anytime students can volunteer within the community, they are gaining leadership skills and a civic mindset that will carry them into their future. Absolutely incredible. Now, Brooke, I understand that you had a booth at the Communiversity event, the annual Communiversity event at Idaho State University in February. What was that like? You know, Communiversity is such a phenomenal event twice a year for the community and ISU to come together and celebrate what the university does for the community and what the community does for the university. And so we did have a Celebrate ISU table, and that allowed us to interact with the public, to spread awareness about what we do, increase awareness of the food that we need and the volunteers that we need. Now, I was there. I shot some video with you guys when you were at Communiversity on February 10th. Let's take a look at that. Okay.
He's a hungry tiger. It's called Benny's Pantry, and according to Brooke Barber, who oversees the nonprofit organization, their goal is simple: feed the starving student.
We exist so that students and ISU community members do not have to make the difficult choices between educational expenses, for example, textbooks or housing or food, or providing for their own families, and being able to eat a nutritious and full diet.
The charitable nonprofit began in 2014 and has quickly grown into a widely known and highly utilized service for college students. Michael Mares is a senior at ISU who says he has used Benny's Pantry on multiple occasions.
Benny's Pantry has been there a lot for me. Since I don't really have that much money to be spending on food, I like to use Benny's Pantry as a way to get what I need for the rest of the day. What the good thing about Benny's Pantry is that they actually support the common ingredients that I need to make like different dinners, breakfasts, or lunches. Rather than going out to eat and spending money on there, I can actually use it for things that matter, like my books and other things like that.
Local community leaders like Chubbuck City Mayor Kevin B. England support organizations like Benny's Pantry and believe the program helps to sustain other institutional food banks which are designed for non-student community members.
It would probably be inappropriate for us to ask the folks that are going, the students at ISU, to go over and go to the food bank. There's a lot of families in the area that need that, and to me this was a real ingenious thing to say, you know, we do have students who need help. Let's have something right here on campus that can provide for their needs.
Reporting for KISU, I'm Aaron Graves.
And that was truly a great event, Brooke. The mayor of Chubbuck, I think, in that piece makes a good point. What is it that you have found? Do you find that students don't think to go to a city food bank like the one in Chubbuck? I think that ISU has a high number of non-traditional students who have their own families and they're over the age of 25. And I find that they are more aware of local Bannock County resources like the Idaho Food Bank. I think that our traditional college students, perhaps newer to Pocatello, new to Idaho, are not aware of those external resources. And I do believe certainly that
when we can support our students in this way, we do support the greater community, yes.
And I do understand too that Benny's Pantry is sort of expanded or is in the works of expanding, not sure, into Idaho Falls. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of our goals early on was to expand as much as possible into the other ISU outreach centers, and we were thrilled to expand to Idaho Falls, into the Benyon Union this past October.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and what that allows us to do is simply expand the outreach within the ISU community. And ISU is not just Pocatello. We have Idaho Falls, Twin Falls, and Meridian. And so this was our next step in reaching more of our community.
All right, thanks Brooke for joining us here. And we're going to send it back now to Ryan in the studio.
Thank you for joining us today. Bengal Banter is produced right here on the Pocatello campus of Idaho State University. Tune in next time when we will be talking with local cleaning guru Don Aslett.